Hello and welcome everyone. This is Jess. And in this series, I'm going to explore Wildermyth. Now, Wildermyth is a tactical RPG with some 2D characters. I thought for this first episode, I do want to set up a new story, get you introduced to the characters, and how the play actually works. Now, by no means am I fantastic or great at this game, so I'm certainly not going to give you a tutorial, but rather just a playthrough. I'll point out a couple of things as we go through and hopefully make this an enjoyable experience. When you start, you only have the one option to go into the tutorial here, a 3-chapter story. I'm going to leave the difficulty as is, and we're just going to do a completely random map seed. Now we do start with 3 characters, a warrior, a hunter, and a mystic. As you get in, you can certainly re-roll the champions, and we'll get to customize them. In the beginning, though, the stats, at least at this moment, are not going to be too deeply important, not a whole lot up front. You're going to be able to see change. This first one is going to be our warrior. And for a warrior, more or less all I'm looking for is a good dodge and a good block. 49, 49, 50, 48, not too bad there. There we go, 51, 49. They do have, as you can see here, melee and ranged accuracy. That's going to change, and charisma and tenacity, which are just going to affect the story, which I'll get into here in a little bit. I can certainly customize these. Mets. Okay, no, that's perfectly fine name. Something I can pronounce, something we can remember. Can give them a bit of a different hairstyle. Let's see. What do we want to give you? Want you to be a little bit funky. Facial hair. Not a ton to choose from, but we can go, how about, you know what? Yeah. How about a beard? Okay, colors. Let's get that darkened up a little bit, maybe. You can choose here. And your primary and secondary colors. I think I'll keep you kind of as is as well. We'll just kind of brighten it a little bit. Our hunter. Here I'm really just looking at the ranged accuracy. So she's got actually 102, which is pretty good. 45, 45. I'm going to chance it. Oh, 103. Nice. With 49, 49. That'll work. Ethusa? Let's see. Maybe change that. How about Esther? You can change the face a little bit. A little worried face. A little more inquisitive. Hairstyle. Whatever, right? Kind of go through some of these for you guys to check out. Colors, we already, let's see. How about we go red? Size. It doesn't change a whole lot, because keep in mind, again, these are going to just be 2D characters. So I don't want them too disproportional. And our mystic. All right, 102, 49, 49. Again, yeah, that's pretty good. Charisma 50. Rob Child, you know what? Let's just take that and name him Rob. I think we're going to keep this. Let's change her hair maybe. Ooh, little man bun. See what else we got. We can do some scruff, a little bit of a shadow. I think I'll leave him as is. Oh, pink. All right. How about, again, we'll go a little bit brighter. Otherwise, they all kind of seem to blend in together, but really that's all I think I'm going to do. I don't know if I like pink, though. How about I get you in some blue? Okay. All right, so there are our characters. And we'll get started. Now, I will tell you up front, this does play out a lot like a comic book strip. There's going to be quite a bit of reading, so I apologize if that's not really your thing. I'll try to make it pretty interesting here. But you will hear a lot of reading. This book, there's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. I'll scratch down a line or 12. Right. Then this must be the beginning. Here in our young country, something in the woods is very strange. Worried only by the unusual wandering questions, a young man named Metz took the seasonal road to the town of Scribblebar. Everyone's life is their own private legend, and mine's no different. Sure, the tale of Metz might be dull, but it's my own. It will go as I choose, not to be written by someone else. All right, no more useless thoughts. Morning's getting late and I still have to drag Esther out of her door. She'll have something ready to argue about, take all our time. Smoke? Now here's our first choice, what we're going to do with Esther. You can either become her rival, her friend, or fall into romance. They each have their benefit here. Rivalry, it's not actually as bad as it sounds. As we go into combat, we will start to see that rivalry, they'll try to outdo each other, which actually can be pretty beneficial. And romance, of course, will lead you to revenge if a mob attacks their loved one, for example. So again, certainly nothing that you want to overlook. In this case, I can try to do rivalry. I always figured I'd be setting the blaze, though. Hey, Esther, you here? Now, this very first mission is more or less just a tutorial. As you can see, it's going to explain kind of the movement. Here's their first action and no more actions left. So you kind of want to stay in the green. If you want to be doing something, you always want to move first. A little bit different than I'm used to, all heroes get to take their turn in any order. It'll automatically pick one for you, but it doesn't necessarily have the same sort of system where the person with the highest XYZ stat is going to go first. So you do get to pick, if you want to, who out of the characters in that particular battle get to go. Okay, so I'm just going to move up here. Again, if I move any farther, I lose my action for the turn. There's nothing to do here at this very moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and move forward again. Okay. We're going to move on to the door and open it. Huh? The fire didn't reach your house. Figures. Esther, Scribblebauer is burning. Are you in there? Oh no. I'm coming. Honestly, wish you would have skipped. You look kind of... No time now. These things came. I'm not sure what they were. They caused chaos. This one behind the house won't leave. Grab something. Hit it. Oh. Okay, so I can either pick up a pitchfork, a pick, or a pan. I'll go for the pickaxe. Just watch my back, yeah? I'll do what I can. Don't run and be ready before you open that door. Here are our foe cards. When we first go into a battle, we'll get just kind of a brief overview of which foes we are going to be dealing with. Not a whole lot as far as stats, but at least you get an idea of the quantity of them. Okay. There's our first little mob. All right. For tutorial purposes, I'm just going to move into the green space. This is going to discuss walling. Again, stand adjacent to any ally to wall with them. Walling reduces incoming damage by 1, but does not stack. Okay, so So let's aim at the enemy. You'll get, as you can see here, the 3 white. His health bars turned from green to white with the expected damage, 86%. 15% chance to stun. 3 damage. Okay, now it's your turn. I'll put you out ahead of the hunter. We'll get right up next to the mob here. She can take another shot. And essentially that's combat. Obviously there's going to be a lot more depth to it, but at least it kind of gets you an idea of how the movement is going to work, etc. Okay, and our first... What do we want to do here? Blood Rage. Infuriated by wounds, he does an extra damage for every 2 health he's missing. He can frighten the enemy, which I haven't found extremely useful, especially right in the beginning. Or if he ends his turn by moving, he'll automatically enter Guardian. Which I think I'll go for the Paladin. And for her, Jump Jaw. Okay, twice per combat, she throws a Jump Jaw trap that'll deal 2 damage and pin the first enemy who walks. The first enemy, and then following. She's either refunded an action point for the melee kill, which we know she's not melee, or she can do Fox Flight, which has the extra 1 speed per combat, and dodge for the next 2 attacks against her. I'm going to go ahead and do Jump Jaw, I think. And our first item is Block, so I want to give that to my warrior. We're going to increase that to 59. Well, that was easier than I thought. Rob must already be waiting for us. I hate to say it, but we should both go. Now? Up to that shadowy ruin? What about the village? The fire's out. That thing is dead. The other townsfolk will do what needs doing. And I don't know, but... Now that you mention it, tracks do lead that way. Why was Rob so intent on meeting us there? That old black tower? Don't you get a bad feeling? Oh, Rob, always eager for a laugh. Some gag has gone awry. Okay, now we have a chance to put her and Rob into rivalry, friendship, or romance. We can try romance. I usually just go for friendship and just have a friendship, but just to show you kind of what'll happen between the two. You know what it is? No matter where he goes, things happen, so it's just... we tend to have adventures. Alright. We want to go to our first tile here, excuse me. We're going to go scouting. We'll take everybody with us. The tower where Rob has chosen to meet was a place he often used to escape to as a boy. He knew its rooms and floors so well he could survive being chased through them, but they were a bit dusty. And now I wait, I suppose. Unless that beast breaks through. What do you say, beast? Even you must be bored. The tower was an heirloom of an earlier people. The locals had lost the legend of it. There was an elden dignity in the stones. They stood for standing, though it seemed they guarded nothing. But as the old will tell you, in dusty shadows shy things long go overlooked. That book, why have I never... Are you wondering why I'm talking to myself, beast? I'm also wondering. The book felt heavier than its slender spine suggested. It was full of strange stories, folklore, circles of ancients. Wild nonsense how a woodcutter could read the rings inside very old trees and so find the exact moment a grove began calling itself a forest. Crow Coinclaw and the Benstrom fox? Covered in conversation between a shut-in corvid and a traveling fox. In the end, the fox does the crow a favor, stamping her soul into a coin and sending her around the world. The Scribblebauer quilters told him an assembly of an old people who, instead of dying, took up quilting. They lived together, speaking rarely and making magnificent quilts. Rob reached the last word of the final tall tale. A few blank pages were left. This book, there's room in it for another story. It's cold. I'm stuck here. Right, then this must be the beginning. Here in our yondering country, Rob wrote, not sure why, but finding words ready. Omens had taken shape in the fabric of the land. There, inside the weird turning hearts that thrummed and things, something in the woods is very strange. Some were just misgivings that crept through his body like the sorthless ache one wakes with. Others were more substantial. Now they seemed a thundering promise of doom. From the shadowy fringes of the lands we claim as our own, to the huddled homes of families close in hope and kinship, fears had begun to pool and fester, drowning good sense. In the wild black woods where birds once belled, hateful silence turns. A sudden pain lit Rob's head. It subsided. For a moment, he felt very blank. The story he'd written lay before him in a luminous script, and more empty pages seemed to have sprouted up behind it. Why do I feel powerful? I'm going to take a staff. I don't think I want to run around with a spoon. All right, run if you're wise. All right, our foe, sure. We're going to get a quick little lesson in Wizard. Open the door. There he is. Interfusion is a pretty interesting concept to, again, use interfuse ability to connect with fire or any piece of scenery. Different types of scenery are going to give different effects, and you can use the scenery to damage enemies. I think I'll move here. All right, so interfuse. Now, as you can see, I can interfuse with something here or across the wall. One of my favorites, let's see, can I reach? Is fire. Let's see, let's go ahead. He is stuck behind this bookcase here. So if I infuse with the bookshelf, I'll have an option to splinter blast. I can put it either on top of him or a couple of tiles next to him. Let's try that again. Let's see what our telescope. Barrage. He's still at it. How about a chair? We'll splinter the chair on him. And he dodges it. Anvil. We can shackle him. Now he's pinned. He can't move for 2 turns. There's a coat rack in his room. I'm going to scoot forward a smidge. Fire's got to be my favorite. 4 damage. May not really seem to here be a ton of damage that they do, but actually they're pretty awesome. They get to move that fire around, they can interact with the environment. You definitely want 1 or 2 if you can get a hold of 2 to come into your battles with you. I actually probably prefer them over a hunter. Usually take 2 warriors, 2 mystics, and a hunter when I go into a battle. So I just kind of wanted to show off the other sorts of things that you can do with interfusion instead of maybe just the flame, which I'll probably use a ton. So let's see, for what do I want to do here? Infuse an object, physical attack. We don't really want to do that at this moment. Moving an enemy, I'll wait until later. And so we'll go ahead and do this one, which is the Earth Scribe. Stones and Bones. Dodge. He really doesn't need the dodge, but that's fine. I can always replace that later. Certainly can't do any harm. Did I just do that? I did. I felt that, that the something. And does this mean I'm a wizard? Rob, you look good. You all right? Esther, I'm glad you're safe. Metz, glad you made it too. You see that smoke? That's from Scrollbar. Yes. It's burning? How? I've been a little busy myself, actually. Would you two mind terribly if we... So I'm not sure if you've ever seen a monster? Sure we have. We slay monsters. I'm a wizard. Okay. So now we have the option to do our first attack here. You've discovered a new site. It's still under enemy control, though. Click on it and assault it. So you'll get to decide for each one of these who you're going to take with you as your character list grows. What I'm going to do quickly... Every tile that has in your possession, you can also defend. So you can defend it against an incursion. I'll kind of go over these in depth probably a little bit later, but you can build barricades, archers, traps, or enchant. All right, get through that. Now it's secured. And we'll go back and attack this. I'm not the one with the plans. So, do we want offensive or defensive? We'll go offensive. Just give me room to swing in there. All heroes have 2+ damage and potency for 3 turns. And we've got a raccoon and a row swarm. Action points. To read through this here, their single action ends the turn. Single action costs an action point or a swift. Free once per turn. Then the hero's swift action become a single, and free costs no action points. Alright, since I can see right in, I'm just going to go ahead and take my turn here. Okay, we can definitely flank. And you'll see too here on the ground these arrows. So we'll kind of watch for those. Now I don't want you up in front, obviously. Do we have anything that we can infuse with? Nope, that we can't quite reach, so I'm going to go ahead and use the lamp. And you, let's get you right up front though. Okay, now he's guarding against foes, and you should see the red squares around him. If an enemy comes into one of the red squares, he'll do an auto attack. Okay. I'm going to move you back. Okay, you're not going to be able to shoot that close. And let's go. I put her here initially because she was going to be behind the chair, which should provide partial cover. Okay, let's move you. I need to get you out of the way again. Everything that I can interfuse with ends up on this side. So if he ends up coming out, I'm going to put myself right in harm's way. So I'm going to move him over to the other side of the door. Statue's perfectly fine. There we go. Okay, in the beginning these are all pretty short. Get 2 experience for each of these guys. Dagger. Not really going to be using that a whole lot. Some dawns are gray that should be golden. The smell of ash. There's the taste of victory. No rain. I wish we'd get some rain. Are you thinking about what comes next? I am. And I don't just mean drinks either. I mean, What started here could be much bigger than us. So I was thinking, let's not wait to be overrun. We'll walk these lands, we'll learn how to fight, we can send out word and call for the able and strong. We'll name this the Company of Heroes, the Lions of the Goblet, the Reavers of the Exiled Vale, the Masters of the Ebony Courage. I'll enter your own name. Let's see. Reavers of the Exiled Vale? Sure. Okay. What are we standing around for then? Let's go. I'll do it. Not for anyone else, though. For you. Here follow the tales of the Reavers of the Exiled Vale. Be remembered. Okay. Then we get our first calamity. So again, these enemies improve their strategy after every fight. A new card is added to the deck. The deck is more dangerous now. And this will fill with our cards for our monsters, the types that we can get here, and then our cards. Now, as you noticed in that card, you can't actually cancel it, but up here in the top, you're going to see the LP 5. That'll start to become a little more valuable as you can start to cancel those out. Okay, the legacy points. You can also use them to recruit heroes, build new stations, and cancel. Securing a site. It'll provide the resources at the end of the chapter, provided obviously that you're going to make it. So right now from here, you'll see that we've already got this secured. We've got these resources, and this one we're going to secure. Scramble the bones, paint over the blood, stuff the garbage in the nooks. Secure and Vihil. This site can provide resources at the end of the chapter. Spend resources to upgrade heroes, weapons, and armor. Okay, I want to investigate thoroughly. I want to catalog everything. I'm going to take everyone with me. Okay, let that go. So you're going to see these turn from gray to white. All right, research complete. Surprisingly not a waste of time. We got a spell thread. And we got crow feather bracelet. Okay, so warding. Incoming magical attacks, which I'm going to put on the warrior first. Health. Guess what? You're getting lucky today. All right. So now you'll see that we get hides, we get an ingot, and a spell thread once we get to the end. Okay. Now, from here, essentially, we're just going to be looking through the tiles. We're going to be scouting them out, checking for incursions, which means that, they're held by the enemy, attacking those, and expanding on the legacy of our characters. We also have a recruitment opportunity, which I certainly do want to take. Make sure that we have a 4th member of our party. I think at this point, though, I'm going to end the episode here. Hopefully you enjoyed the small introduction here that I presented. And of course, if you're interested, I'll be moving on in the next chapter. So come back and have a great day, and thank you for watching. Take care, all.